welcome to Waking God's Child YouTube channel and podcast about Morgellons disease syndrome, or whatever it is that you would call it. I would like to welcome my friend, my very longtime friend, one of the first people I met that had Morgellons disease, which is what people call it. This is Sharon Johnson, and Sharon Johnson has been an inspiration to so many with her journey, including myself, and I adore her. So with that said, let's welcome Sharon. And Sharon, I would like to start by asking you, when was your onset of Morgellons disease, and what were the symptoms that you first started noticing?
Okay, it all started in late 2014, which is, from what I can see, pretty close to the time that started for a lot of people. I've had it for 7 years now, and it just came on when I was in the process of taking care of some outdoor cats that were in my friend's neighborhood, and I would go over and then leave them some food. And anyway, I'd been doing this for a while, and I kind of left some food behind a dumpster near a wall, a certain spot. And one day, after many months of doing this, I suddenly just kind of reached my arm down, and like there was this sensation of burning. And I looked at my arm, and it had like a strawberry rash all over it.
Yeah.
And so that freaked me out because I never had that happen. And I sort of inhaled, if you will, I inhaled something that felt like I had little small insects flying around inside my lungs. That's truthfully what happened. And I went to my car, and also it really caused me a severe sensation in my head. I just kind of leaned over, my arm kind of got this burn, and I kind of got this weird sensation in my head. And I went back in my car and I kind of brushed it off, but I kind of felt some small little things crawling on my nose. And I thought, oh, that's weird. Um, so anyway, I went home that evening and I laid down in bed, and I swear it was like something was attacking my brain inside, and it was really bad. I couldn't tell what was going on, but all I knew is it felt like something was really attacking it. And I thought, what the heck did I do? I thought whatever I was exposed to, which I thought might be a chemical or something, I thought,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I hope I didn't run across something awful, like maybe somebody threw out something and I got exposed to it. But anyway, this kind of I kind of shook it off. I had vertigo for several days, and I also had floaters in my eyes, which
Yeah.
I'd never had. Okay, I had floaters really bad. And anyway, I thought, well, I don't know what happened, but hopefully, nothing horrible. So I went back, and it seemed like every time I went back to that spot, same thing was happening. Okay, so I would just get another sensation in my head, and just all kinds of things going on. So I just thought, oh God, stay away from there. And I kind of stopped for a while. Okay, so anyway, I recovered from having vertigo a little bit. It was about, I'd say, maybe a month after that, maybe less. I got suddenly a flea infestation in my home, which I'd never had before. I do have a couple cats, but they're indoor cats. And so my thoughts were, oh gosh, maybe I picked up fleas and brought them home. But it wasn't a normal flea infestation at all. It also involved other insects. I had things flying in the air,
Yeah.
and it wasn't your regular hopping flea. I had like really fast flying insects.
Yeah, that you could
And
barely see. Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? And I had this these gnats. I had a lot of gnats. Okay. And so I thought, well, this is weird. It's like a triple kind of infestation happening here. So I thought, well, first let me try some sprays. I'll try to get rid of it. Well, it got really bad really fast. And I managed to, get my house in order. I was working hard to get my house ready to have exterminator come over for the flea infestation because it was beyond my control. And anyway, I had taken my pets, put them in the vet, over, the course of a couple days while I did this. And then suddenly, while I was doing the cleanup, I was bitten, I'd say hundreds of times. I was the only living thing in my home. It's so gross to talk about, but that's what happened. I mean, It was really gross, but I was literally the only living thing in here, and I just got relentlessly bitten. And it wasn't just like, on my arms or whatever. I was trying to cover myself best I could while I was getting this house ready, because I had to get everything off the floor, but also inside my shoes. I mean, really bad inside my shoes. And I thought, what is going on? Why am I being bitten so horribly inside my shoes? Anyway, exterminator came and did a treatment on my house. And the first time wasn't enough. Okay.
Did he notice them? Did he see them?
Well, I also had other things going on, which I've read that other people have too. Before, I should have kind of backtracked a little bit. I had the black specks in my bedding. And when I would go to bed, there would be, all of a sudden it was raining black specks on me. I don't know where they came from, but I would get into my bed and there wouldn't be anything there, and all of a sudden there were all kinds of black specks everywhere. And I would take a lint roller and try to get them up, and they would just keep on coming. No matter how many I was getting up on the lint roller, they would just keep on coming. So I did show the exterminator some of these and said, I don't know what this is, I have no idea. And so he was checking for like bed bugs or whatever, but I didn't have bed bugs. I did give him like a sample of one of these, black speck pepper things.
Right.
And they really didn't have any identification for it. Okay. They didn't have any identification for it. All I knew is I didn't have bed bugs. That's what he told me. No bed bugs. Okay. But anyway, long and short of it, I was staying in a hotel while all this was going on, and my house was recovering from these treatments. And when after I went back to the hotel room, I took the shower, I had like all kinds of things falling off me. That's how bad it was, black things.
Yeah, all the black stuff.
All in the shower, everywhere. Okay. Yeah. And I was like freaking out about that. And I had, gone over to the bed, and I was sitting there, and there was a black, one of these black speck things was on my finger, and I couldn't get it off. I tried rubbing it off. I couldn't get it off. And it actually burrowed right into my finger. I mean, very painlessly went through my skin.
Yeah.
I could visually see it under.
But you didn't feel it, right?
I didn't feel it go in. Okay. But I thought, what the heck just happened? I had another one on another finger, and it went through the finger, and I took photos of it. It's going to sound really strange, but I had something kind of pop out of the top of the finger, like a small little fiber thing popped out. And I thought,
I know what you're talking about.
I mean, it was pretty instantaneous. And so I was a bit concerned. And anyway, my whole finger started swelling up, the whole knuckle, the whole, and my skin turned very leathery. So whatever had gone in my finger had really affected that finger, and it really ached, after it was in there for a little bit. But also, back to my feet, I couldn't bear to put my shoes on because I had kind of like a black tarry substance in my shoes. Yep, and I thought, I'd never seen that before, but there was a black tarry thing. I don't know.
Like black goo, almost, right?
Like, okay, you said it, black goo.
I learned that name later on after I experienced it. I'm like, what is this?
Well, and I did, save those shoes, and it had kind of bumps in it, on the black stuff. But I called my sister and I said, you're going to have to bring me new shoes. I mean, I can't even put these things on.
Right.
So that's the kind of where the horror nightmare of it all kind of started. And it is kind of a gross story, but it's a true story.
It's a true story, man. That's right.
It's a true story. And so, my house eventually cleared of, it took a few days, but it cleared of the insect infestation. But I did have to throw the mattress out because the mattress was, was affected by the whole thing. I figured out that when I laid down, these things were kind of like getting into my mattress, and I thought, I got to get rid of it. And I also noticed that I had a lot of fibers around me when I was sleeping on the mattress that weren't there before, just kind of these long
Understood
fibers.
that. Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? And I had all the other typical symptoms that I later find out other people had as well. But how I found out I had Morgellons pretty much is that I Googled the black specks on the bed, and it kind of led me in that direction where, oh, this has happened to other people.
Yeah.
And some of the
I Googled the
things
fibers.
right. I mean, I knew they were highly unusual things that were going on in
Yes.
my home. And I thought the whole infestation to begin with was really unusual. It was way beyond normal. And anyway, that's how I figured it out. I got rid of the mattress. I got a brand new one. And I was able to get like a vinyl mattress cover to zip it
Right.
all up so it wouldn't get reinfected. But obviously, I began to see all my clothing's really affected. I have lint things all over the seams of everything I wear, in the waistbands, and my leg seams. I had them and I couldn't get these lint things off with the lint roller. And they were irritating my skin. They were, if you want to call it a biting sensation or like a pricking sensation, when I wore the clothing. So I quickly, by going on and kind of discovering what other people's symptoms were, I realized that the cotton was a big issue. So I sort of put the cotton clothing to the side, and I threw a lot of stuff away.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That
heard
was
that one,
like
like a lot of stuff away.
way beyond infected. I couldn't really wear it anymore. And
Yeah.
I did learn some things about putting, some peppermint soap in the laundry and some borax. So that was
Yes.
helping me. And I
Yeah.
want to just kind of backtrack. I did, when this initially happened and I had a thing go in my finger that burrowed in my finger, I did make an appointment right away to go see my dermatologist because I also had a rash on my leg. So when I went to the dermatologist, they were kind of freaked out. They could see all the bite marks on my hands, okay,
Yeah.
and they immediately thought I had scabies, okay.
That's
So
what I was told.
yeah, so I went in there when this first happened, and I did show my dermatologist, here's the picture of this thing that went in my finger, right? And
Yeah.
she could see it. And anyway, by that time, I had gone online and I sort of discovered that it could be Morgellons. So without knowing that I might have an issue with the doctor, I brought it into her and I said, look, I think I have this. And I brought her a sample of the black speck, and she said, well, I looked at it and it's not a bug, Sharon. It's a bundle of fibers. It's a bundle of fibers. It's not a bug. So whatever went in my finger, she was calling a bundle of fibers. So like,
He
okay.
called it that though, like under the microscope, I'm sure. That's
And at
crazy.
first, she was sweet at first and very receptive. She said, we did have somebody else come in here last year that brought a similar article, and she went and actually did a biopsy on my skin, on my thigh, and she
Right.
was very open-minded. She was going to send me to an infectious disease colleague of hers, okay. But that kind of got shut down right away. Like, he wouldn't see me unless I had some kind of lab test to back it up. And so it's a journey where I went to even like a Lyme doctor that's in my area. I was fortunate enough
Yeah.
to have a Lyme doctor close to me. And he, when I Googled, it said that he treated Morgellons, but really when I went there, he wasn't at all receptive when I called it that. He just totally kind of half laughed at me, like,
So he
really?
wasn't even receptive to Lyme? That's crazy.
Well, I didn't use. I said, I'm coming to you because I saw that you treat Morgellons on your website, which I don't know how it got on his website. It did say that,
Right.
which was very rare. And I was very fortunate that he lived.
Yeah, that is really rare. Yes.
It's very rare. And
Yeah.
he was
In
Lyme
Texas, it
specialist.
doesn't exist according to the docs here. So
Correct. But I
it's
thought
crazy.
I thought he was going to treat me with respect, but he really didn't.
He was awful.
He just kind of dismissed me, and I mean,
Yes.
everybody's been through the same experience, right? I couldn't really get him. He gave me some big thing and said, "Oh, put samples in here," but he wasn't really serious. He would just take a bunch of blood work and then, send me on my way a few $100s later, So,
Yeah. Thanks for the moolah.
and
Bye.
I thought, okay, so this guy who has on his site that he treats it and he's a Lyme doctor isn't really taking me seriously at all. So then I sought, some alternative health practitioners
Anything, right?
and yeah, but I also, not to go on all these tangents, but I also had other really weird symptoms going on. I haven't found too many other people that had them. I have found a few, but my skin sparkled. Okay.
Yeah,
And
happening to me now. Yep.
really, okay.
Finally,
So
yeah. Well, you told me about it forever. I remember. So yeah, I get the
yeah, well,
hexagon sparkles all the time.
I've taken a lot of videos and there's a lot of different theories. So I don't want to shut any of them down. So I can't say
Oh, you're
it's
welcome
quote,
to say what they are and what you would lean towards, though. And there's no
well,
problem with that. We all are entitled to opinions.
it's a big mystery. I had contacted the Carnicom Institute, Cliff Carnicom. His wife was nice enough to answer my emails, and I
Wow.
think I referred to these things because they were kind of flaking off of me. They were in my clothing. It was very weird. Like if I even touched something,
They were everywhere.
they were there.
I remember
And
seeing your videos and pictures, and still,
yeah,
it's crazy. It is. Yours is excessively glittery.
it was
So,
very glittery, and I was sort of transferring this glitter. I thought, am I like a fairy godmother? What's
right?
going
Like
on
a
here?
little, pixie dust. Pixie
I
dust
had
everywhere.
fairy dust I was leaving everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I called them chips. I said I have these chips because it was weird because I could see these patterns in them. And they had this
Yeah.
certain shape, and it was
Patterns
like
and
had
shapes.
little lines going through them. And I really realized that it's the way my eyes were seeing it. Somehow my vision changed,
All
and
of ours. Yeah.
I was able to see things that I hadn't been able to see before. So I saw all these
Right.
sparkles, I saw all these crystals, and it was freaking me out because I would drive around, my whole pants were sparkly. If I wore a top that had little layers, I had all these sparkles in there.
Sparkles everywhere. I
Yeah, so
remember
I
seeing your
actually
pictures. I'm like, man, she is glittery. She
it was
sparkles.
very blurry.
But it's so
And
pretty. It was pretty, I gotta say. It's really pretty.
it is pretty.
Yeah.
It is pretty.
It's
And
just,
I
maybe
brought
you could rub off on people, make them shiny and nice too, right? So you're an amazing
anyway,
person anyway. So
on one of my return trips to the Lyme doctor, the Morgellons doctor, or whatever, the infectious disease doctor, I had shown him these on my clothing, and he actually took a sample. And then he went and he looked at it under the microscope, I don't know, a few minutes, and he came back and told me, wow, it's just full of bacteria. And he went on and said how he kind of implied like had
yeah,
all
because the
this weird
bacteria is
stuff
just
on
real
me.
glittery. Come on
And
now.
I'm thinking, okay, put that together, full of bacteria.
I mean,
have it
that's
all
a
over me.
genius, let me tell you. You just have to wonder about people, and especially what are considered educated people. Like, what's
Well,
wrong with you?
I was scratching my head, like, how can I bring in really visible things to doctors? My
Yeah.
dermatologist or the infectious disease doctor. I mean, it's not like they can't see it.
See,
They could
there's
see
so
it.
many of us that have brought plenty visible things in. They choose not to see it.
Well,
I don't
exactly.
know if it's a mind control thing or if it's a
No,
coded thing that they are not allowed to. They'll lose their job. There's so
I,
many, ideas on that too.
I drew that conclusion. Of course, I was having digestive problems too, because it does affect your whole system.
Yes.
And I went to my regular internist and I told her, look, I think I have a parasitic infection, because it's really causing me problems.
Right.
And she dismissed that right away. And I just I didn't say that word. Eventually I did say that word to her, the Morgellons word. She
Don't
didn't know
say
what
the
the
M
heck it was.
word.
She didn't know what it was when I mentioned it,
Most of them
but
don't. Yeah.
she went to her laptop, and when she put the word in, she came back to me and we were in the room together, and she said, Sharon, it's telling me that
You're
I have
delusional.
to answer a question about whether I think you have mental issues or not. And I'm going to answer no. And that kind of ended our discussion, because she was really shutting me down, saying, look, if you talk about this further, this is what so that's
what'll happen. Yeah.
I kind of figured out, okay, so when she puts that word in on her computer, this is the response that's coming up. It's relating it right to mental illness.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an opportunity to really have her even hear me out about it, because she said, oh, well, this is what's going to happen more or less if you continue talking about it.
Right.
So I learned. And even when I made a return trip to the dermatologist, this was even like a year later, she just shut me down right away. I could bring in microscopic pictures, because my sweet parents bought me this microscope. It's kind of flexible. I can put it right on my skin. Well,
these are great.
They are. I brought in my pictures, but she just said,
that's just it. They don't want to look.
No, they didn't want to look. She just wanted me out of the office. So I clearly got shut down on the different times I've gone to different people, and I learned that wasn't going to get me anywhere. But I just want to say, that when this initially happened, I was scared to death. I knew something bad, something really bad happened, and it wasn't normal. And when I told my family, I was sort of devastated. I love my family, but like my sisters, would say, hey, that is not a real thing. That is like a made up disease or whatever. I said, no, it's not. I have it. And I was never treated like, how do I say it? Just was never heard out by my family to the point where they would take what I was saying seriously. And that really hurt, because I thought, you guys have known me forever.
My whole life, right?
My whole life. And if I tell you something, I don't lie. I said, I'm not just starting to make up stuff because I want attention. I don't want attention. Yeah. I'm just telling you something significant has happened in my life.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, oh, I'm sort of on an island. If I'm going to save myself, it's going to be up to me.
It's all me. Nobody else going to save me. That's right.
Well, and it wasn't just me by myself. Obviously, I found some resources online to help. Okay, which I said,
but you had to discover all this for yourself. You did a lot of research.
Well, I'm saying that it does teach you a little bit that you have to be self-reliant. There's not going to be somebody always backing you up, and thank God. I mean, I can only say that I'm so thankful to some of the people who made videos before that I can say, yes, that's happening to me. Yes, that's the same thing. And, Tasha Lee had a channel and she was showing things. And I said, that's exactly what's going on with me. And I think Marcia, I don't know her last name. She had a channel as well. So those were people that I kind of relied on. And even just watching how they handled it emotionally helped me, because, I mean, it's serious, but also you have to give yourself an emotional break about it. And
that's right.
I think just having other people, like, for instance,
support groups are great.
Yeah, and Tasha's not with us anymore, but I know she had a sense of humor, and I like the sense of humor. And those things, kind of give you the strength to say, okay, this person's dealing with it, I can deal with it. So, and that's exactly what happened. I think when I met you is when you first started your channel, I think, and
just 5 years ago, maybe, wasn't it?
Yes, it was
like a long time ago. It's like crazy how fast time flies.
Yeah, just having a person that I could text and say, oh, guess what happened to me, or this is what I'm experiencing.
That is what gets us through, though. You're right. Just having someone to be able to do that too. With you too. Thank you for that. So
no,
You were
So
there for
valuable.
me when I was just like, what in the holy hell? My family's like, take her away. She's crazy. We don't love her
I
anymore.
know,
I mean,
and
they
I'm
may as
like,
well
that's
just come out and
right.
said that because they didn't come rescue me. They didn't tell them to stop. They didn't even stop for a second to look. And I thought,
It,
man, this is every man for himself right now, and I'm the only one I got. And then I had
you
you
had it
to talk to,
reworking
and you
me.
helped a lot with that. So
Well, I didn't have anybody trying to, I mean, my father, well, I love my father. He had come to me and said, Sharon, why don't you go over to, U of M, University of Michigan Hospital, and we'll get somebody for you to see. And I thought he meant like a
a doctor,
doctor,
any minute,
a
psychiatrist.
specialist. Oh no, he wanted me to go in to get
Yeah.
a little evaluation or some emotional support for depression. And I go,
Jeez
oh,
Louise.
really?
I just remember my dad telling, like, I had adult services in there, and keep in mind, my daughter was 9 at the time, and I'm
Right,
all she has. I'm her
right,
mommy, and I'm a damn good mommy. And I just remember my dad
right.
telling adult services, take her away. She's crazy. She thinks she's got bugs and fibers on her, and she sees UFOs. Well, what do you know? If it wasn't a freaking not even 18 months later, if less, that they're like, here's the government, and we are definitely seeing things in the sky. We do not know what they are, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, in your face, but do you
Right.
think that mattered? Nah, they don't care. My
That
family
was
doesn't care. They're too busy going on vacation, doing things for themselves. And I love them, but you know what I mean? It's just, it's
yeah.
God,
I
it
mean,
hurts.
of course, my family is my rock. I mean, I love them, but yeah,
Yeah,
for this issue, I really didn't have them lend too much of an ear or give it too
you
much
did it on
credence, and
your own. Yeah,
that was really sad. Even if I would
sad.
send a video, it would be, oh, well, we think, even now when I show the lesions on my back, and, right now I have
Like, how
them
could we create
in my
this for this
temple.
long? Yeah, here too. Yeah, how could we
Yeah.
do that
And
for that long? Why are you not listening? What are you, brain dead? I mean, that's what you want to say, but you love them. So,
it's taken time. I think now I've gone around a couple years. I have a really bad arm with a lot of lesions, and it's very visible. And I wear a lot of sweaters, but I still have, my war wounds, my scars, or whatever.
yeah, me too.
Um,
We all do.
and they've seen that going on for years now with my arm,
Yeah.
and I show them my back, so they know it's something, because I wouldn't be having these symptoms forever and have it
Mhm.
not be something. Of course, they think it could be lupus, or it could be something else, something known.
And maybe it's exactly what
And
we're saying, and there's hundreds and thousands of us saying it. So listen up, right? Maybe they should call
yeah,
it because that's what it is. Maybe
well,
it's nano poisoning. You
gotta tell
know?
you, you know what? Even getting there, because I do know it involves nanotech. I'm not gonna
Yeah, but it's not all that,
sugarcoat
right?
it. There's no way, and I don't know how it works. I'm not that highly intellectual to figure it out. I certainly watch a lot of videos to explain it, but
Yeah.
um I just know that, if I even go to that level with them, I'm going to get really shut down. So I just try to,
Yeah.
just try to deal with the surface stuff with them. But then,
And you would think that would be
over
the
time,
one thing they'd listen to because it's on everything. It's on labels. It says it everywhere, and they just don't get
well,
it. It's crazy
yeah.
though, huh?
And I mean, the concept that, oh, my body could be dealing with something that's above what's normal, that
Yeah.
it's something beyond that it's,
Yeah.
I remember going to, I'm not married, I don't have kids. So when I refer to my family, it's like my parents and my two sisters, basically.
Right.
So when I would go and try to say, hey, it's not that I'm a weak person. On the contrary, I'm quite strong,
So
because you have
strong.
to be really strong
You're a warrior,
to,
girl.
that's right. You have to keep, it's the strongest of us that are dealing with this, I think.
I
And
betcha.
I sort of realized over time that I sort of made a pact with myself that I wasn't going to I wasn't going to let myself be taken down emotionally by it. I thought I've gone to the depths, but I'm not going to let it totally destroy me. I'm going to try to overcome it, and I will speak it. I will actually speak it. When my house was really infested badly, because we have those, crinkly little fibers everywhere, and they were colonizing.
They're like everywhere. The curtains, rings everywhere.
They were in my furniture. They were everywhere. And that's overwhelming. And trying to explain that to people who haven't ever dealt with that is really hard to say, oh, it's affected my home, because they think you're just seeing things. But no.
Where do you start? There's so much.
Right. And, that part would get me down. But I would really even speak out loud. I mean, talking about how I dealt with it mentally, I would just say, hey, I'm a daughter of God, and you're not going to.
You are a child of Christ. That's right.
I'm overcoming this. I'm overcoming you. I would sort of speak it out to the air, but I would say, you're not going to take me down. I am stronger than you any day. And so the more I said that verbally, or I would get myself little little sayings. I have like a picture over here about adversity and getting through it. I would tell myself, okay, this is a test. Maybe this is a test. It's not that God doesn't love me.
Job, the book of Job.
There's certainly been Job in the Bible, right? And other people that have dealt with really tough situations. And I said, okay, this is your cross to bear, Sharon. You're going to get through it, and you're going to do it as best you can. And I just have found that over time, like, the best thing I could do is be kind to myself,
That's right, because nobody's going to do it to you or for you.
No. One of the first, I did go on a couple conference calls, and the first gentleman who led one of those calls told me, look, this wasn't your fault. What happened to you wasn't your fault. It happened, and now we have to deal with it. But you didn't do anything to make that happen. So, I needed to hear that. I really did. That this isn't something that I caused. It happened, and it's a tough. I don't know if you can really. It's called Morgellons disease, but I often think it's like
syndrome, or just a.
It's a syndrome or a condition. It wasn't, developed for me, and I know other people have.
It was developed for everybody, and I see it everywhere on everyone. And I'm just going to put that out there because I see it physically, the patterning of it everywhere.
Well,
so
I could see
you've done nothing.
And I had these things in my home, I could see them when I went out to the grocery store. I could see them in the clothing stores.
I can go to my sister's place or my brother's. It's everywhere. Yeah.
I can see it everywhere. And then I went through phases, like, I know we've had these discussions before. I know I can't say that word about the trails probably, but I had trails.
Well, I just call them the happy trails to you.
All right.
So that the airplanes sing when they go by.
Yeah, I had a lot of those happening, like, overhead, and I'm not.
I've had the X's all day.
I'm not in an air traffic zone, if you know what I mean. So
crazy though, right?
There's no way 7 planes flew over my head right in a row, and they don't let me.
But they did, and that's why people are like, "Oh, you're crazy."
I don't want to be called a conspiracy theorist, but
I don't think there is a such thing as conspiracy theories anymore. I believe most of them have freaking solid ground to stand on, where the other ones that they call facts have no ground at all.
Well,
so
I know Cliff Carnicom had studied those, and I know that there's scientific, evidence of what he found. And I'm, all I know is that sort of, I don't know, I don't want to sound paranoid, but it's sort of like, oh, it's over my home and not somebody else.
No, because Sheila and I were just talking about this tonight, how, some people are like, well, why do you think that you would be singled out, blah, blah, blah. And I think the same goes with the targeted individual community, which kind of still falls in the same line of this. It's not that we think we're being singled out. I think it's its own little personal spiritual warfare to some sense, But I mean, it's not people that are doing this. Satan is he is the ruler and the leader and the principalities of the air. Okay, so there you go. There you go. If you want to know who or why or how they single you out, he works hard on those that he has a problem getting. It's a hard time to get you, so he's going to work overtime. And
Well, I'll be
it's
honest.
true.
I honestly think that, you start to be able to see things you couldn't see before when you have
Yes.
this condition or
Yeah.
notice them.
Even about other
And
people too. Yeah.
right. And I know this is going to sound weird, but I did watch a video of a guy who was able to kind of pray these
You prayed
out
him away. I
loud.
prayed him away. Yes,
And
it worked.
I've done it.
Me too.
I've
After
done
you
it,
told
and
me
I
you did, I
watched
tried.
it.
You're right. It works. Prayer, guys.
And
Jesus
I
Christ,
wouldn't
the
want to
Almighty
sit there
God
and
is
do it all
real.
day. I wouldn't want to sit there and do it all day, but that was true. So I knew there was
But
a
it does
spiritual
work.
element to it. I knew
I'm
there was a
testifying to
spiritual
that
element.
too because I tried it and it just cleared.
Yeah,
So
it's weird.
back to spiritual
So
warfare.
I can also say that, okay, now if I'm not thinking about them, and now over time I've stopped
Not near
seeing
as
them.
much, right?
Yeah, no, they're not everywhere like they used to be, but
Yeah.
initially they kind of were. Okay, and so yeah, I do think there's certain things. Also, I want to touch on another subject. That the there's a controversy that goes in our community, different theories, and some people say, well, it's only fibers under unbroken skin or under your
Yeah,
skin.
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I mean, I sort of have my own theory that, I live in my home and I noticed that, hey, if I touch certain things like my cat's hair or whatever, it can become activated and crinkle up right away
Mimic it,
and
right?
start moving or whatever. And I
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, this has to do something with me touching it or being in my environment.
Or
So
physically seeing something, right?
yeah, and so I did, not to go off on too many tangents, but I did film, like, you'll get the cluster of you know I don't want to call it lint, but dust, whatever, and maybe it's got little
Yeah.
antennas moving all
Fiber
around, and
balls.
I can recognize that. Oh, that's an activated piece, or that's something that is
Right.
associated with this
Activated. That's
condition.
a good word.
And so it didn't come necessarily out of my skin, but it does affect some things in my environment, and it has
Like
affected my pet.
manifestation sometimes too, right? I think
Yeah.
manifestation when we think about something really hard or even
Well,
subconsciously, maybe.
it's just that I'm seeing environmentally there is
Oh,
clusters or things in
environmentally,
my,
that, yes.
yeah,
But I mean, when
and
I'm
they're
like,
not.
when I'm thinking about, I bet you there's one over there. What do you know? There's one over there, right? It's like, there
Yeah,
they
and
are.
I film them. I mean, I know when I see one, and it's kind of hard to describe. They're not all the same, but it's like, oh, I can tell that's a piece of affected material, or
They
that's a
glitter and they have a different texture,
dusting,
don't they?
right? And so there's things associated with this which make me think it's not entirely a quote disease, because it
Yeah,
does
it's not a
affect my
disease.
environment and not necessarily things coming out of me.
Environmental poisoning.
And so I'm like, I don't know what the association is, but obviously, the immediate area in my home or whatever can be affected, and my pet's fur can be affected, especially my older pets that might have some health conditions. They seem to be affected more.
Yeah.
So I
I
feel
think my
sad.
dog died from it, honestly.
I do know I've had some pets pass, and I think that was a contributing factor.
Yeah.
And I hate to think that, but I also think I'll see him again one day. So they had to go through this with me, maybe, and there's a purpose behind everything. So hopefully, on this journey, I'm going to learn a lot, and they help me through this journey on an emotional level. So they're my companions. I don't have kids, so they are sort of my kids, but it does hurt when you see that your pet can be affected too. Not all of my pets are. I've two little cats that are not affected, but I do have an elderly
Yeah, it
cat
just came on
that
so
is.
fast with her, but I mean, I think it's everywhere. Anyway, I watched wild animals literally in the wild, and I flat out when I go rescue and they were on their, last leg. You just look at them and you just know that that's what it is.
I've been to the vet and had appointments and gone into my vet has like a dog room or cat room where she's seeing,
Right.
this is the visitation room for cats. This was pre-pandemic times, but I would go in there and I saw from the fur that was around other animals that must have been affected as well.
Yeah.
So I know that it's prevalent. I've talked to other people who've had animals who said that their animals were affected as well. So I feel bad. I do feel that reinforces my thought that it's not just a people condition. It's affecting
Everything
other
condition.
things in the environment, probably affecting the trees as well.
Oh, the trees
So,
are very obvious. They come alive
yeah,
at night.
I have a lot of trees that are dying. I'm not saying that's all that, but I mean, I am saying that it's something beyond just humans. But I do think it's a transforming experience, because when you walk this walk, when you go down this journey, you don't know why. I think the biggest question is, why me? Why?
Yeah, every day was like that for the longest time. And now it's like, why not me, right? The other people can never handle this, right?
There's a different way to look at it that I kind of came. I mean, I felt sorry for myself a lot.
Me too.
And, I got to tell you, I think, because I, of course, see other people, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. It hasn't, I've got it on my forehead, my temples, and I've had it on my chest, and there's scars, and I've had it my whole arm, I've got proof of this affecting different parts of my body. It's not as out of control as I see it with other people. So I think in a way I'm very blessed because of that. But in a way, like, I think, okay, if it had to be somebody amongst my loved ones that walked this journey, better it be me. Let me be the strong one to walk through it. And
there's so many that couldn't handle it. So yeah, you're right.
I kind of tell myself, well, okay, not to go back to Job again, but it's not like he asked for it either.
So worse for my dog than me, It's like, that's how it is. It's a selfless thing. It turns into be a selfless thing.
And I think it's just a matter of turning to, one of the best blessings out of the whole thing. I don't want to bring it back, but like, you are a treasured friend of mine, and I would not have known you had it not been for this experience. So I think sometimes connections are made. And I find that a lot of us have like qualities,
Yes.
I think
personalities and strength.
Personality, kind-hearted people,
Animals.
Animal lovers, right? I'm not trying to put us all in a box, because everybody's got their own different experiences.
Yeah, everything's
and I do know people get it from other things like mold in the home, or it could be a
I was down at the river, I was at the river digging, and I counted what I remember the most, the black goo or black mud. I didn't know what it was at the time, but the fibers were the next day.
Into your toe. Didn't you say something went into your foot? Or
yeah, like the rocks I pulled up from the river, and I mean, I was pulling up some very ancient stones. I'll leave it at that, because I don't know, but I just kind of think maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but all I know is those stones, I brought them to my house because I love rocks. I'm an artifact being anything to do with history, especially truthful history. But I saw the stone and this fiber. I literally watched it. My feet were bare feet. Jumped from the freaking rock, like pole vaulted almost, just it like stretched up and just went into my toe, and I screamed. I didn't feel the pain, but I saw it happen, and
that's screamed. Me. When that thing went in my finger, it didn't hurt at all, but it went right through my skin. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It was like, wow. Did that really just happen?
Yes.
Yeah, and and then it happened a second time, like within 3 minutes later. I was like, so I start running through that grass to go get my shoes, because I'm like, they're everywhere, at that point. I'm like, I thought I was losing my damn mind, I'm just like, you don't get crazy. You don't stay alive on earth this many years and just suddenly one day wake up crazy, especially saying the exact same thing a million other people worldwide are saying. And that's where the public around us, the general public that are brainwashed through the system, and that is politely for me to put it. That's the only polite thing I can say, to not be observant enough to see we don't. A billion, there's probably over a billion at this point. Americans and Egyptians and Indians and whatever country you want to think of, Africans, we don't wake up one day all saying the exact same thing, none knowing another. And that's where people need to use their damn head. It's not rocket science. But instead, they're like, take her away. She's crazy. We don't love her anymore. We were a kid forever, but now we don't like her. Who does that?
I think if people, well, of course, if they lived it, they would believe it, right? If they lived it. But
of course, yeah.
And I gotta say that part of it, I think, in the world is there's so much going on in the world. There's so many people just trying to make it, to go to work, to take care of families. They don't have a lot of, you expect your family's going to listen to you more, but maybe they just, it's too much for them to try to absorb, and I do know that, like, remember I said I had that tarry substance on my feet. I do get things like shocks on my feet all the time.
I had the tarry stuff on my feet too. That's kind of how it started after the rocks.
Yeah. And I could, to this day, like this is going to sound strange, but like I have to wear fresh socks all the time.
Girl, you're telling me. Fresh everything.
Particles in them. I don't know what.
I'll throw my socks away.
I throw them away all the time.
Me too. Like, I'm not wearing them again.
I actually said, well, okay, no, start washing them twice and see if that helps. Well,
it doesn't help. I've tried.
It doesn't. I started getting reinfected in my feet, and I said, "This isn't worth. It's not worth it. It's worth it for me to throw them
I'd rather buy another pair
and buy another." Right?
Yes. I'm the same way. I'm like, screw that. I'm not wearing those socks.
I know.
I don't care. I will not touch those socks again. Where's the next pair? I go shopping for so many socks. They're probably wondering about me. I'm like, I need socks. I need some more socks.
I know. They must wonder about me when I go to the store. I'm always buying socks, right?
It is what it is. Only we would understand that.
So there's certain things that I don't understand that really. All I know, and there's other things that other people have experienced too with electronics, where you blow out light bulbs in a room, or
I used to drain batteries all the time.
And so I say, okay, there's some kind of electrical connection to all this as well.
Most certainly electromagnetic qualities, frequencies as well. I mean, I would hold a flashlight, or my car battery used to die.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then, also the ringing in the ear, like that tone that's really high pitched.
Yep. I hear it right now, actually.
Yeah. And I have to say, okay, this is going to sound strange too, but I do think there's an AI connection because
it's not algorithm running everything now.
Right. I find that if I'm watching videos related to this, or if there's something, all of a sudden the high pitchedness is like really ramped up, and I can't believe it. I'm thinking, okay, I've even had like my cable box, my cable box will start making a weird noise
sound
when I'm laying on the couch, and then I'm feeling it in my head, and I'm like, oh, it's humming really loud. I had to go and actually unplug the thing because it's just going crazy, and it's
so loud too.
So I do know, like, there's a frequency, and I just think that sometimes when I'm looking at things that are related to this, is some kind of trigger, like
something happens. I agree.
Something knows that I'm looking at this. Something knows I'm watching.
Every time I do a podcast, I get the strange things happen to me.
Yeah.
But they're starting to understand that it's not going to stop me because it's getting less frequent. And I'm not afraid anyway, because the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. So, but I know what you're saying with that.
I think I've come to get used to it, but it's annoying as heck to have that sound going in your head all the time. I feel like, am I plugged into some kind of like thing that's causing?
Like, I'm ADHD already. That's like really hard. It's like, wait, what?
I know I'm talking about a lot of different subjects that are like not everybody can agree with me on, right? But
just one at a time, please. Multitasking isn't working here anymore. So.
I do know there's symptoms other people have, though. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people. Hey, the high pitched ringing in the ear, or the frequencies, sensitive to that stuff. So I don't know
Or the
how it's all
orbs that show up.
connected. I am so thankful. I just want to say, I am so thankful for people who've gone out, you doing these podcasts, other people who brought their research forward.
Yeah.
I love the
Gives
support
a
groups.
gesture and Harold Cox.
Yeah, I love the bravery I see of people saying,
Yeah.
hey, we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to get some help.
And you're
we're
doing
gonna
it
do
right now.
together.
You're doing it
Yeah.
right now. So good for
Really?
you. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. And that takes courage, man. It takes courage. And you just conquered the world right now, in my opinion. So
well, it's
I'm
taken me
proud
a number of years. I don't think I could have done this in the beginning because I
That's
kept
hard.
thinking, well, I must have got this for a reason, and I don't know who's trying to
Who's responsible what I did? Yeah.
So I kind of went into hiding a little bit, and I'm working, so I don't want everybody to know, but I also think I also want to bring it out of being something to be ashamed of. It's not. I'm not.
Nothing you did. Everybody's got it. That's what I say.
I feel like
I don't want to hear it. I know that, but it's true. So
you might be able to see it on me more than other people, but I'm sure it's affecting other people.
it is.
And just
I mean, we're
because we're not
breathing
aware, and I think as a community, we are bringing awareness one step at a time. And I appreciate you inviting me to come on tonight, because I feel like if I don't speak my journey, maybe there's something that I've gone through that somebody else has.
You would help them so much.
Just hearing somebody else having dealt with that symptom or maybe that circumstance happened to them.
For the animals, like you said, yeah. Where you notice the little bugs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
People
think
experienced that, so that was important. So yeah.
Yeah. And I do think of, it does cause you to be more spiritual. It does, because you have to think of the why, you have to think of what the purpose is. And I can't help but think that there's a greater purpose that I can't see, but there is. And maybe we're all, some pioneer people that have gone through this, all the people that have dealt with Morgellons, one day it's going to be known. It's going to be known widespread. But in the meantime, just having the ability to connect with each other and support each other, and just being able to
connect with the God Almighty. I've never been closer now because of this. So that's another reason I'm grateful, because when you have nobody else to rely on, you start relying on Him, where that's where we should have been the whole time. But then you realize He's not only just real, He actually does love. He does listen. He does care. And He holds us at the end of the day, or we wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly. And I also, I think initially, it's going to sound weird. I got this when I was 54. I'm 61 right now.
What?
And I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad when people are younger. And they have
you don't look your age. Wow.
Oh yeah, I do. But thank you. Well,
no way.
The reason I'm saying that is that, I got it at a later point in my life, and I feel bad for people that are having to have a longer journey with it. I used
20
to
years,
be
Sandy Nelson, yeah.
Sandy
Griffin Walker.
I used to be concerned, oh gosh, what if I have a shorter lifespan or some, I used to think of all these thoughts. And I'm kind of a bad girl, because I know diet is supposed to be the big thing. You're supposed to.
I still live, right?
Not eat this, not eat that, right? And I did that initially, because I was really bad initially. But then I kind of came to the point where I just said, you know what? I can't have this rule every aspect of my life. I'm just going to do the best with my supplementing. And I do take a protocol. I'm so thankful for people that have, given me the key parts of that protocol. Again, I'm going to get back to Clifford Carnicom, because he found, NAC, high doses of vitamin C, glutathione are things that can control this. And of course, I take other things as well. I'm not making any medical recommendations to anybody. All I'm saying is that by building up my immune system and learning about things that were effective, that brought me from a point of, hey, I can't deal with what's happening, to a point where I can sort of live a somewhat normal life, in that I can still work, and that when people see me, I'm one of the fortunate ones that doesn't have it so bad that it's really visible. I can sort of hide my arms,
Yeah,
under my long sleeves.
camouflage it, yeah.
Right.
I've been fortunate with that. Lots of makeup, especially on the arms and stuff. It's bad. And, my legs, gotta do what you gotta do. People look, they're awful.
Right. And like I said, I'm not a young thing anymore to where I'm not concerned with how I look like I used to
I
be.
lost that a long time ago. Not even near as bad.
It does. I wish I could wear short sleeves the way I used to.
Do it. Just do it. Screw it.
I do remember, like, I had to go.
As long as you look, girl, you better be wearing shorts and short sleeves.
No.
You're like so beautiful inside and out.
No.
So you really are. You own yourself because you.
The stress of all this is how.
You're gorgeous inside and out. That's all I can say.
But the worst part is like if you have to go get a medical test, like I have to go get my medical test, or I went to go see their doctor, and of course they make you wear like the little. You have to
sleeve, and then they look and they're like, oh,
and then they
assume the worst.
Like, oh, my doctor's like,
oh, yeah, you know what they're thinking too. And actually, I never thought anything of it until it was brought up to me one time. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Wanted to kick him in the teeth. It's like, you have known me for years. Why would you say that to me? It's like,
one doctor freaked out about seeing that on me. Well, he'd been my doctor for since I was 20 years old.
Right.
So he knows that I don't have other factors involved, but he was concerned, like, oh, are you getting that looked at? And I actually did tell him, look, I have a condition that's not medically recognized. I'm just going to say it, okay?
So fibromyalgia wasn't recognized. Fiber in that myalgia. That wasn't, right?
And
Cystic
I
fibrosis.
feel like, darn it, I know you're not supposed to say what it is to a doctor, but
it's so hard, though. It's like, it's
but
called,
I do feel like, to heck with it. I'm going to say what it is.
Good for you. Good for you. I know so many try to say Lyme at first because, you are literal. I mean, I was taken away, not just once, so.
You were.
I mean, for me to come out and say, I got it, what you going to do? I mean, that took a lot because that was terrifying. I lost my rights to just be a human and raise my daughter. So.
I was shocked when that happened to you. I was so shocked.
It was
because
horrible. It didn't make sense.
I didn't know that you were there for the 3 days or however long it was.
And nobody checked on me. I was like, who's going to come get me? I knew I had nobody left in my life that loved me anymore. And all I could think is,
I know you were telling
who's
me
going to come get me?
Family member or that if this happens, but I really didn't realize it, or, it was a while back, so I don't remember all the details, but I never thought they could do that. Like just
for no reason, just a phone call from somebody else. That was just like all it took, guys.
A third person, and all of a sudden you're, in a place that is beyond your control. It's against your will. That's crazy.
I mean, I was drugged up the whole time, like drugged, and then they didn't. I don't even remember being there really until I woke up. And that's what's weird, is why would you say you took someone in and you evaluated them for 3 days if they're sleeping? Because they're drugged out because you drugged them up. Yeah. So that right there says enough to me, and anyone else that's watching this should know there's something really wrong here.
Yeah.
Really wrong. And not just me. There's hundreds of people that this has happened to. I'm not the only one, so I don't feel bad for myself, but damn it already. I wanted to kick some teeth in. That's my baby girl. Like, that's who I was worried about.
I would have been really angry.
Message like, oh, you're scaring her. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to scare you. I swear to goodness, with a size 7, you better step back, Jack. You don't mess with my child or me or take my parenting away.
Well, and that's one element that I haven't had to deal with, having kids and going through it. I mean, that must be a very difficult aspect.
I can't even imagine. Like, can you imagine telling someone else, I'm going to take your child from you? Like, she wouldn't put up with that. Ever.
No, I could never bear that. I do know that I've had other repercussions that are kind of like, I don't want to really bring all of it up, but within my family where I'm not in the same, even though I'm oldest, I'm not in the same position as
We're all the oldest too.
Yeah. They're kind of worried about whether I can, quote, mentally handle things.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. I think, I used to be the first in the books. Like, I was fine to raise my brother and sister when my mom and dad wanted to go off and play in Roatan or whatever. But, it's like, oh, better call Michael, the sibling that's younger than me, because She's certainly
Well,
untrustworthy. I'm like, I'm probably the only one in this family that, including out of the parents that had me, that is honest and trustworthy right now and is here for the fight. And they don't even know what's coming. That's the sad thing. And it's really
right.
sad.
And
It scares
I
me for
do
them.
feel like, and that's what I had to explain to my family. Like you might think something's wrong up here with my brain. It's not. It's that I'm a really
It's with
strong,
you,
intelligent.
actually.
It's that I'm a really strong, intelligent woman. Okay.
You're so much stronger than they ever knew
Right.
about you.
Right. And they
You
have
know, and
no
it's like
clue
I had
what
to tell myself, they'll know it one day. God's going to let
they
them know
will
about
know it
that,
one
right?
day.
But the joke's
Right.
on
They will
them,
know.
and I feel fine with that.
Well, I feel like, that I don't want to burden, like, I don't want
You're
to call it a burden,
selfless. You're
but
selfless.
I'm not bringing it up that much with my family anymore, just because I'm like, okay, well, if they were gonna, I can't make
I
somebody
don't talk about
understand
it anymore to them
something.
either.
Yeah, they can't understand something they don't have any
Yeah, there's no way to
experience
make
with.
them.
But I do resent totally the stigma of the,
Painful.
oh,
It's
you're
so painful.
delusional.
I would rather
I've never
die a
been
million deaths
delusional
than feel
in
that
my
pain ever
life.
again.
You can't be delusional about things you can visually see. I mean, you're
Yeah,
not
not to
delusional.
mention a million other people with the same thing, and they
Yeah,
won't even
and
look though, and then that's on them for not looking. God's going to be like, "Hey, what'd you do that for? You got an answer?" And they'll be like, "I went to church. Does that count?" And the sad thing, and I'm
yeah,
speaking of my own side here, no, it doesn't count. That's never going to be enough. That's never going to be enough. It's not.
right.
It's you got to go outside the lines. Color there. Stop staying in that little boundary with the conditioned thoughts, right? And
Yeah.
think, just think for yourself. Don't let people tell you. And we're not trying to tell people what to think. We're just saying use your mind, your eyes.
No, it has taught me a lot about, well, you will learn who your friends are. I haven't really revealed this to
You don't
too
have
many
any.
friends, but I did have a very good lifelong friend, and she just happened to be in the field of psychiatry or psychology or whatever she is. So I
Wow.
guess but
Wow.
she did have an open mind listening to me for about a year, and then she just finally cut off our friendship. And I understand that, because maybe I was burdening her too much about what I was going through. But
We need love
also,
just like anyone else.
I just thought, really, we're friends for forever. And
And
then all
now,
of a sudden, we're not friends just because
yeah,
I have a condition you don't understand.
yeah,
That was very painful. So there are very painful experiences to walk through. And sometimes it does
so painful.
reveal the people that are going to stand by you and who's not going to stand by you. And maybe that's a good thing in its own way. It's hard to resolve
Well,
that
I've
in your brain.
successfully lost every single person I ever had in the world, so I guess I don't, but the thing
Well,
is, I gained people like you and
you
like my
did.
Morgellons
You
family.
got
I got a new
you got
family
really good
now, one that
friends.
loves me like unconditionally. They would never throw me to the wolves. So I got a
What's
new
not
family,
to
even though I
love?
lost everybody and everything.
You're
So
one of
thank
the
you for that.
kindest, you're one of the kindest, sweetest, most intelligent people I know. I mean, really. And I value you so much, because there's not a single thing I could tell you that's going to shock you or say, what's
Uh-uh.
wrong with you, Sharon? You're going to understand. And that is like a treasure
Me
for
too.
me. It's
Me
worth
too. And thank
so
you for
much
that.
more. Yeah, I mean, I think what has shaken out of the whole thing, and I know other people have other life experiences, whether it's dealing with cancer or whether it's dealing with other tragic things that might
Yeah,
happen in
so
their life.
much.
All those things that were important to me before, like,
Nothing
oh,
else.
gee, I want to be successful, or gee, I want to have a great house.
Yeah,
Those
isn't that
things
funny
are
how that works?
no, they're meaningless to me,
You
because
realize
what
the
is,
important things in life, don't
yes,
you?
you
Yeah,
realize
I
what's important.
agree.
And I
It's like we
am
got that
blessed
little
that
secret and nobody knows it yet, but I wish they catch on. You don't need all
I
that
am,
stuff.
yeah, I'm blessed
So,
that I do have a wonderful family, but I do know that it's sort of like, if I were to bring this subject up, oh,
yeah,
that's kind of
that's why I
embarrassing,
just quit. Mine, like, I'll tell them, watch one of my movies, but it's got to be on something that they'll relate to. They don't care
Yeah.
to see my body with scars or my face melting down or, holes in my whole head. Or they don't care about that. That's just nothing to them. It's just, they won't even
No,
watch that, watch me suffer and
it
die. Actually, they'll
it
let me
is
though, right?
it is
They'll allow me.
curious, isn't it curious that for, I don't know, for 54 years of my life, I
You were
didn't have
fine, right?
arms full of scars. Now all of a sudden
But
I
all of a
do.
sudden, and they're like, self-infliction. It's like, yeah, I'm just sitting here with a knife going boom, boom, boom. I just wanted to do that to myself. Who does that?
Well,
Come on now.
you know, and I have them even up here, right? I have
Yeah,
them
like, or I got it
my
like in
arm.
places you can't even reach, right? It's like, oh,
Well,
unless you got stabbed in the
yeah,
back. God,
but the thing is,
literally by
and
them.
I had to laugh because I did have to go back to my dermatologist, and it's been probably a good, I don't know, 4 years since I had seen her before, and I kind of went there because it was getting really bad and it was kind of painful, and I thought, well, maybe there's a cream that she has that can be of help, you know, and maybe I can get that referral to an infectious disease doctor, which is really what I was kind of looking for. And anyway, I showed her I thought, well, I'm not going to bring in a matchbox, but I'm going to,
Yeah, the matchbox
I
syndrome,
have
right?
these microscopic pictures
Gotta
for
give
her
it
to
that name.
clear of what's going on. And I'm
There
going
you
to
go.
bring her an 8.5 by 11 photo of these so she can clearly see.
Like, you can't
And she
mistake
won't
it.
look, I'm going to make her see. Well, you know, not only did she get upset because I brought a book with me about it, and I brought these things, but
Oh, you're
she says,
fooling me?
Sharon, I have another professional woman like you that picks at her skin all the time.
Oh, she said
Really?
picks at her skin. That just makes you want
Yeah,
to
she
freaking punch
just,
someone in the face so hard, and I feel
I'm
comfortable
thinking
saying
to
that.
myself, okay, I came to you when this initially happened, and it was, you were worried about scabies. You heard my
Yeah,
whole
she was gonna
thing.
help you then, right?
She was going to help me then,
Yeah.
and then she learned to shut me down, and she's a good doctor. She's a nice doctor, but
Thanks,
it's like,
Marcus.
now she's going to just call
Very
me
nice
the
too.
skin picker, right?
How horrible. Like, that's
And
such an
that's where the
insult too, because
degrading.
you know yourself well enough, and you should, and you think you know the world around you that looked at you one way at one time, and then you get sick, so sick
Right.
that you know you're going to die of it because you can't get help, and suddenly they don't know you anymore, and they don't want to care, they don't want to help, and they want to help you by giving you drugs or sending you to crazy doctors, but their love only goes that far, and the doctors, like, all that the doctors at first do no harm, right? That only goes that far to where it doesn't even approach that level of first doing no harm. I mean, there's so much harm done, it's ridiculous, and
Well,
shame on all of them.
it does bring the major thing that we're all dealing with, which is the CDC's refusal to acknowledge this
CDC is
condition.
the root of all evil.
And
Oh, and this is for entertainment purposes only.
right, of course,
Of course it is.
but
We're just joking.
I don't want to say anything too strong, right? But
Oh, I'll say
basically, the
it.
fact that in the notes somewhere is that we're not allowed to be taken seriously or treated, and
Oh,
that's
we are
very,
controlled. Yeah.
that's degrading, because I know that a lot
Mhm.
of money is spent on health insurance. I pay
You know
health
it.
insurance premiums that are very expensive, right?
Our
So I
lives
feel
are
like,
that disposable. How sad is that? To like, but
yeah,
that isn't sad because that means Satan's trying so hard on us. It's almost a compliment because
well, and I also
people are easy to get, I guess. I try to
think,
tell
well,
myself
you
that.
know what? I think the natural supplements that build the immune system are probably the better route anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of forcing me and others in that direction, which, you know, we're dealing with something that is very tough to deal with, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that I'm not getting other drugs that are going to mess up my
Amen to
system,
that one. I mean, I won't even see
right?
a doctor anymore. I don't, much less take pharmaceuticals, like, at
Yeah,
all.
I gave up on the whole thing, seeing the doctor about it. I mean, I do run across situations where it's evident that I have an issue with my skin, and, you know, I just have to deal with that, but
I'm
I
supposed to go
truly
get
am
this
not pursuing.
casted, and I was already supposed to. I refuse. I would rather let my hand fall off of my arm before I go see a doctor. How bad is that?
Oh, I didn't know you were
It's
getting
broken in
involved.
2 places. So,
Yeah.
and one's a clean break, and the other one's, well, it's like 2 hairline fracture. One's a hairline fracture, one's like it was almost a break, but it's fractured. But it's in a splint, and I will. That's how much faith I've lost in our medical field and our doctors and our medical facilities and pharmaceuticals. We already know what those are made for. Just make you
Yeah.
need something else. So Rockefeller said, "What? Yeah, they've had their hands on everything for a long time, and
Well,
nobody
and
sees
in
it."
a way, you know, before all this happened, I was sort of, you know, the one who thought, well, if anything's wrong, go to the doctor, take whatever it is, you know, kind of blindly, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's caused me to reevaluate it. I say, okay,
Yeah, I was the same way. Yeah.
your best to be your own best advocate and to take
Yeah.
control of your health the best way you can. And
And
I
you know
just
your
thank
body
God.
better than anyone, you
Well,
know?
and I thank God. I think that when this happened to me, you know, I feel worse for the people who dealt with this condition before I
Oh,
ever got it,
geez.
because they were sort of the first wave of people, and they had far less resources or, you know, trial and errors to get through it. But I learned so much from what other people had 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 treated themselves with.
Right.
And I for one, I got to be honest, I haven't gone out and taken some of these things that are treatments that if there's anything that I think might cause me some harm, I kind of stay away from it because I have a health condition with my heart and
Yeah.
other things. So I just say, you know what, just take what you can that you know is gonna not, you know,
That would
be
cause
too
harm.
extreme,
Yeah.
so that I don't hurt myself. But everything that I've learned from other people has been just so invaluable. And so I have
You
to count
helped
my
me with a lot of that too. So
And I just count my blessings for those people that are there who are outspoken about it. Maybe I've been shy up till now to ever
I'm
speak
proud of
about
you.
it.
I think that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I'm
Well,
so happy that you're sharing because you're helping people right now. In fact, we've got somebody on here, Christy, I believe, said thank you, ladies, for sharing. So people are
yeah,
listening, they
and I
care, and they
know
need to hear the story.
everybody's experience is their own and it's unique.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some crossover here with what other people have experienced, and some people might not have experienced any of that. But um, anyway, that is my story about what had happened. I don't know, as I said, I don't know the whys, and I probably never will. But I think that in a way, I just have gained a lot of respect for myself, becoming a
Yeah.
strong person, saying,
Yeah.
hey, you know, if you can handle this, you can handle just about
You can handle
anything.
anything. Yeah.
That's right. And so I tell myself, you've come through a journey, and even without the support of your closest, you know,
It's
people
a
in your
reward in
life.
itself, though, knowing that you did it, you know?
Right.
It's like
Exactly. And I
nobody cares,
say,
but I care and I know.
and
So,
I,
and
I
God
did
knows.
spend that,
God knows what you've
I
come
spent the
through. He knows
first year
those
learning
mountains.
everything I could learn. And I learned how, hey, I got a natural enzyme cleaner. It's actually from the pet store, right?
That's where I get my
I,
stuff.
I forget what it's called, but it's like
Tractor
a pet stain
supply.
remover, and it's a natural enzyme. And that took care of a lot of things in my home in a non-toxic way, where I was able to get, you know, kill a lot of that and start getting my house under control. And it smelled like lavender. So, you know,
I like that smell.
I tried to seek out those methods, and I used peppermint in my laundry, and it controls it in my clothing, and it also has peppermint aroma in my house. So
Yeah, you have
that's
candles that you like do too, right? The candles that
yeah.
you
And
make are
then I just got, you know, because of this outbreak, I just got a toner that has peppermint and neem oil in it. So I'm
that's a good
using
idea.
something that are kind of targeted toward that. I found peppermint's my best friend. I used it. The reason I have hair that's kind of
I need
strong,
to
I
get some
take
of that.
biotin, and I
What was it?
wash it. I take a supplement for every day. I take it with biotin and silica and collagen. I can't think of what brand it is.
Your
You
hair is
have it,
gorgeous. It's just
but
gorgeous.
it strengthened my hair a lot. And then I use this peppermint shampoo and conditioner. It's from Avalon Organics, and that has been a lifesaver for me, because you know how it is when you get it all in your hair,
My
and
hair was
it
standing
really,
straight up at one time. It was like Medusa. It was so bad.
yeah. So I
It's
found
like,
when I use this, I have to use a regular conditioner with the peppermint conditioner because it can be drying. But actually, the affected hairs would actually leave my head. They couldn't take
yeah,
it. So
yeah. She's
that's what
like, your
happened.
legs
Is
will
I
walk
use
off.
it,
Not really,
I
but
use
I know.
it, and they would exit themselves, and I'm like, okay,
I
that's
know,
good.
right? It was like, what just happened?
And this was
Where
another
are you
tip I
going?
have
Get back
learned.
here. What are you
I have
doing?
a peppermint. Oh, I use peppermint on my hand lotion of theirs too. I mean, hand
That's what
body
I
lotion.
use. And the only thing I use, I don't even have supplements right now. Peppermint
Well,
oil. Thanks to Penny Nelson.
when my feet act up and they sting and they're having shock, if I put the peppermint hand and body lotion on it, it calms it right down. So it's killing whatever that is,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's how I
interrupting.
cleared up my lesions a lot with that peppermint oil.
Yeah, and
Candy
I'll even
Nelson
put it
too.
in my hair. Like I'll just kind of take it in my hands and like do it like a leave-in conditioner in my
I
hair.
take the hairspray and I'm like, die bastards. Just kidding.
I sure
It
think
works. You
people
get
use
stuck
other
there.
things, but I'm a big advocate of peppermint. I probably write
The
too much
alcohol in the
instead of
hairspray does help though, by the way.
yeah.
I don't have any
So,
right now. That's why I keep itching my nose. My hair is just like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
but
you
yeah,
better stay
it
straight.
did affect me up here in the temple area. I don't know why the
See, I have that
temples,
one that
but
goes straight from here up to my scalp
yeah,
too.
it's chosen my temples, and
Yeah.
that's a very sensitive area. And I'm like,
Oh, it hurts, doesn't it?
it hurts a lot. You
It's
know?
like, if people only knew what we go
I have
through.
long bangs, right?
I mean, it's not pretty. It's painful. It's the ugly. It's the hideous. It's the it's everything like that you can imagine, and probably times that by 100. So yeah,
Yeah, and this
especially you hear the stories about the butts, their butts hurt. I'm like, I haven't had that issue quite yet, but
what's
damn near
that issue?
close. The thing, I mean, like we can't even be ladies anymore. We're like, my butt has Morgellon on it. Just kidding, but not really. It does
Well,
happen.
and I'll be honest, like some of the things are so hard to talk about because they're
It's
not
like
very,
you lose all
they're not very
dignity.
likable subjects, right? I do have long hair, but if there's an infected hair, like it wanders in other places, and I'm
It's like right in the
oh,
crack, it's like, what are you doing down there? What are you doing a
yes,
dance?
they're in my waistband, they're everywhere. I'm like, where did you
We
wander
lose all
to?
dignity completely. Our
And
dignity's
it's like,
gone.
how do you
That's the
tell
first thing to
people,
go.
oh, I have this little problem, yeah. So I try
It's
to
like,
not talk
woo!
about it too
What are you
openly.
doing?
This is probably too much information for people,
No,
right?
I'm pretty sure most of the viewers on here know it. And the other ones that don't yet, they're probably just like, that's pretty damn funny. But you got to feel sorry for
Well,
us too, is it's not fun. So,
anyway, I know I was all over the place in my
no, you
discussion
were
tonight,
great.
but just trying to, at the end of the day, I know I've gone through different stages of dealing with it emotionally, but I just try to say, you know what, it's part of something greater than you are. And, if anything, I still look at it like, hey, I'm going to live my best life regardless.
Make it count.
And I'm going to just keep living as normally as I can. And yeah, I get extremely fatigued. I have days where
Oh, so bad.
I call it a bad day, really can't get up and do a whole lot.
It's
And
like every
yeah,
day for me, it feels like.
I've lost a little bit of mobility in my walks and stuff, and I just say, okay, fine. It's other people have injuries if they're athletes. You can get through this. So I just try to coach myself mentally a little bit
Positive
on
thinking. That's
positive
right.
thinking,
Positive
being
thinking
a
is everything.
coach, and also like when it was really bad, I would just kind of speak it like, hey, I will overcome it, and
Speak
I'm
it
not
into
going to let it
existence, right?
speak it to exist. Exactly, and that's not easy to always follow. But I think,
No.
if you kind of have that support system, like I had you as a friend. Okay. So when I was
Okay.
really having some really weird things happening, I could send you, a text or
I
something.
totally got
Hey,
it.
this
Me
happened.
too.
And we're both night owls, so that kind of helps, right?
Yeah,
But
when
I
you have
think just
Morgellons, it's hard
having
not to be.
somebody sweet and supportive who's a positive person is really
Uh,
great. So I would
I
suggest,
feel the
like,
same.
if you're going through this, and I know we have community forums, I'd say if there's one or two people that are really you're connecting with, that's fabulous. Because if you have somebody that you can reach out to by text or email or just a hey,
That's what's going to get you through this, guys.
exactly.
You need
And
your people.
I just say, hey, pick a buddy, have somebody that is
Anybody. Not
well,
really anybody.
you've got a lot of buddies, way more than me,
Pick a
but
buddy, anybody.
I'm just saying that has been like a turning point for me. I've known you for several years now, but a turning
It's going to
point
make me
for
cry.
me. And no, it's true. And I even told my family, I said, just having this person who I've never physically met
Sweet.
ever, and you and I live far apart from each other, but we're
Oh,
only a phone text away. So I think that's that's really a gift, a true gift. And
Thank you.
having Morgellons isn't a great gift, but some of the side
There's
things that you
blessings
can
in the
find.
storm.
Yeah, I think
So,
if you can find these valuable, what end up being lifetime friendships, I think, that's really a jewel
that's
out
a
of the whole
gift. You can't,
experience.
it's a treasure
Right.
that you can't just go out and buy, guys. Sharon, I want to thank you too today when
You're
I
welcome.
was working. I'm in a motel, guys. If you haven't figured it out, a hotel. It's a hotel, I guess. Everything's
I
a
feel
no.
bad
It's a
because
no-tell.
my eyes are bad and I can't see any comments, so I feel
Yeah,
bad.
I'm here working in Austin for 5 days on a case, but I just wanted to tell you and tell everyone that thank you for you. She called me or texted me today, and she asked me if I had a picture of my little deceased pup, and it
Right.
brought tears to my eyes because she was going to make a memory candle, right? Or what'd you call it?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
well,
that was just like
it's a
the
memory
sweetest
candle.
thing anyone's ever said to me and
Oh,
wanted to do. And I'm busted in
well,
tears, but it was happy
I
tears, by
didn't
the
want to
way.
make you cry, but I
No, it was
know how
happy
it
tears. I
is.
know. But I mean, I was just like, man, I miss that dog. But you were just, it made me feel good though, because somebody cares,
Yeah.
somebody cared. And I know a lot of you guys are like, all of you care. I get that. But Sharon, I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing
Oh,
what you did. Thank you for what you do for me. It's
oh,
like it's a two-way street, and you
it
are a
is.
blessing to so many also, and me especially. So
Well,
just want you to
likewise.
know that. And you
You
are
are.
beautiful. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Oh,
She's in
well,
your
I just,
60s, guys. What's up with that? I take what could you send me some of those protein bars or whatever it is that you take for your beautiful skin? And
oh,
what supplements were those? So I mean, you are
well,
gorgeous. So
no,
inside
but
and out. So
well, I think the inside's the most important part of
amen.
uh,
But you are
us.
both. You radiate
Oh,
inside to
well,
out. So you are definitely a blessing in my when I was having my storms, you were a blessing in the storm, and all of you guys are blessings, and you will be
yeah,
blessed, and we're here for you too.
we got a
So
lot of
you're
wonderful
not
people.
alone.
Yeah, you're
But,
never alone. And I think
yeah,
that's the other thing I want to say is that, um, I'm happy to be a support system to anybody else if somebody
there
wants
you
one.
go.
Because if that's, there's nothing worse than just feeling like you're on your own. And like I said, that link that I had with you, a couple years ago, when we started communicating
Yeah,
was like
5 years ago. It's already been that long. It's
it's
crazy.
beautiful, and it really kind of set my mind frame in a positive direction when I really
Me
needed it.
too.
So,
That's
yeah.
what we that's what we build each other up. When the world puts us
Hmm.
down, we're here to help build each other back up because the world's not going to do that. We're here to stand strong and warrior through because God needs us for a reason. He brought us through
Exactly.
it, so I'm telling you, He's going to bring us the rest of the way.
Well, he's always chosen like, uh, people who are just regular people to do significant things. So I think that you just have to keep that in mind.
His
And
apostles were just men, regular men. But I mean,
well,
you're right.
I think if everybody knows that they're special, that even I don't care,
no matter what it is,
whatever you're going through, you are so special in God's eyes. You are special. And that
He
even
doesn't make
though times
mistakes
are
either.
no. And I once, this is going to seem weird because I know I'm going off into like a religious thing here,
You
but
just go, girl.
I once saw, where did I read it? It said when you look at the bottom of a quilt, okay, when they're making a quilt, all you see is all this, strings hanging and things that are not,
Morgellons. No, just
so
kidding.
great. But if you go and look at it from above, it's
Patterns.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
sometimes we're only seeing the underneath and it looks like it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
But really, it's building blocks and you just have to take the good out of it and
And
just,
every block tells a different story.
yes,
So
we're dealing with some bad crap, and yes, the world's not going to understand, and yes, we're going to fight to get it recognized because people really need help. I have to say that one of the things that was on my side is that I was working. I had some decent income coming in, so I could afford to throw some clothes out and buy some new ones, but not everybody can. And I think that
spray it
we
with
have to
peppermint
be,
spray.
yeah, we have to be recognizing that all of us are in different situations, but I think if you see somebody that needs some help, be some help. That's how I feel.
That's
And
exactly right. No, even if it's just support with your words and your heart, a
right.
little bit of time, it's free, you know.
When you had your bad
You
arm going
you sent
on,
me this beautiful care package, guys.
I
I can't
did. I
believe
sent you a
it.
care package.
Like a huge care package, and I was just
I
overwhelmed to
sent
have
you borax.
borax,
I
and I
sent you
mean,
all kinds of things. I'm
yes,
like,
girl, like
Brenda.
I was. You guys don't understand. I was so sick. I was like flat on my buttocks. I was belly crawling to the toilet at one time. None of my family would even come see me, much less know. I mean, I was dying. I literally felt like I was dying, and I didn't have the money to do that because I couldn't even work. I was that sick. And trust me, I'm a go-getter. I work my ass
I
off.
know
I'm
you
not
are.
someone that just doesn't do that unless I'm really sick. Well, Sharon showed this kindness that I can't, no words can even express how
No,
much love and
it was
gratitude
just
I
a
have for
little
you.
thing, but
Like,
I
she
just
sent me this big care, and it helped aid in my healing, guys. And those things mean so much. There's so many different things we can do for each other, whether it be words or a care package or so.
I think
Thank
that's true.
you.
I honestly think that I know we're not supposed to, like, on our support group say, oh, I need, funds or whatever. But I mean, if
Yeah,
there's something you need, I think that if there's somebody who might be able to help out,
we'll
and
figure a way.
right. And I think that, me having, I felt blessed that I was able to work and that I
Very
did have some
good.
money to spend. And I thought, I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to try to share what I know to try to help somebody that might make them feel more comfortable or might give them a little bit of a remedy on their skin. And I don't know all that much. I just shared what I had, or what I knew of. But I think that if we could help each other in those ways, if you see somebody that might need a hand or might need,
Yeah,
um, some kind of contribution to help out with their situation, even if it's just a product or a supplement, I think that's a big thing, that
yeah.
they can
Or just
maybe
a
get some
listening
help.
ear, guys. You
Yeah.
know?
So
Erica, you
anyway,
are so Erica's on here. She's so sweet. She says, Lisa saved my life. No, dear. I didn't save your life. You saved your life. But I wanted to tell you guys about
I'm gonna
Erica.
have to
She's
put my
got the most
glasses
beautiful heart, and she writes beautiful words that are heartfelt, come from her heart, maybe sometimes experiences in life that we all kind of probably feel. So I encourage you guys to kind of keep in touch with Erica and follow her because she is I actually have one of her videos on my YouTube channel. It's about the flowers. So you guys need to check it out. I can't remember. We or something about the garden growing weeds or flowers or in my garden. Erica, you can put your information out there. But I mean, it's beautiful. And Erica, that was sweet. Those were kind words. And just words like that are just heartwarming. And I cannot thank all of you enough for just being so supportive,
yeah.
you know?
Somebody asked if I
Supportive.
have a channel myself, but I don't. But I mean, I do. But I got to be honest, I made all my videos. I was kind of afraid to make them public.
Do it, do it, do it.
But I will start a channel.
I
Not
encourage all
not
of
that I
you
have a
to.
lot of time, but I will probably start sharing some of mine publicly
Good.
because I think the more people that help me, the more people can see something or
Mhm.
get a piece of advice, the more they can get through it. So I'll probably do that. Yeah.
And if any of you
But
want
thank you.
to, want to put your testimony on this channel, get in touch with me. Let me know. I've got a little bit lined up, but I mean, we need to get all the voices on here. I
Right.
mean, people are listening, guys. They're listening. They're hearing us. So let us know. Let me know, and we're gonna get you on here. I want to hear your story. Your story counts so much, so much.
Yes.
And ears need to hear
Everybody,
it.
and I learned something hearing everybody's story. I learn all the time, when I do
Amen. That's right. Things that you don't even realize that you're sharing are actually oftentimes a big portion of the time helping people. So it is
Right.
important. Don't let them shut our mouths. Our mouths were meant and made to be open. So not singing though. I
Yeah.
can't. So I'm not that kind of open. Anyways, all right, Sharon. I got to get up
Okay.
at
Yeah.
5 in the
And my
morning to be
battery's
on
running low.
site. And I
Right.
know you're probably beat and drained, but you have
Yeah.
no idea how much we appreciate you sharing your
Aw.
story from the
Well, thank
beginning
you
to
for
end. It
having
was
me
thorough,
on.
and I appreciate that because there's so much to this. And covered a lot of ground on that people don't get to know about, but they relate to it, but they don't hear that others are going through that. So
Yeah.
I guarantee you that was
I
perfect.
don't think I covered it very deeply. I kind of touched on this and
But
this.
you, you'll be on again. I need you back on. So we need to keep doing this with all you guys.
Okay.
And Sharon will be back. I know she will because she loves me. She loves me.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you guys
again
for joining us. Thanks for listening in.
Yes.
That's really nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Love you guys.
Okay.
All right, we're ending the stream.
Bye, guys.
Maybe we are. Maybe we aren't. I'm trying, guys.
Okay. Well, I'm
Here we go.
gonna.
All right, bye. That's so weird. It's not going. Nope. Yep. Nope. No, my life hates me. Pretty much hates me. It's okay though. God loves me. Here or there. We're not there. I know what we're gonna do. We're just gonna shut this party off.